That's one thing I noticed that really came to mind in the orders episode is like you can copy stuff and no one gets offended. Like if I copy one of your projects, you're gonna be like, "Cool, that's awesome."
It'd be awesome.
But there's not. It's one of the few industries where copying is like a form of flattery.
Yeah. On the note of copying things, like I think that is one of the drivers for a lot of people trying to be different. Especially in this industry, because especially like as an artist, I think you want to set yourself apart. You want to be distinguished and known and one of the names to be remembered. And it is kind of ironic because there are a lot of architects that have like done something different and been remembered by it, which is cool. But then we're looking at Thomas Jefferson today, and I mean, looking at some of these things that are just breathtaking images of really well done architectural design, and he's just copied.
He's copied the Greeks.
And I would say his are arguably more memorable, more impressive, more like they speak to your soul. I don't know. I'm just looking at him like I'm comforted by that, and I'm less comforted by some of these modern architectural works.
There's a whole thing. You're exactly
I see what
right.
you're saying.
And there's a lot of the new urbanists, a lot of the classicists, lament the things that are being taught in modern architectural schools right now, because the goal is to be different. The goal is to do something original, and being original has become this mantra for being great. And so the reason Frank Gehry is chasing after all these sculptural and things is because that's the new cutting edge, that's the new frontier. And they would say, why do we want to go back? Why would we want to just copy the past? To your point, Richard, we're not copying the past. We're working within these frameworks to create something beautiful.
Right.
And so they feel like they have to do this kind of thing in order to be original.
Yeah.
And there's stories of people getting sick in these buildings because you're walking through there and the walls are moving and everything else. And
the proportions don't speak to your mind in the same way that classical architecture does. And I even remember walking up the Leaning Tower of Pisa getting sick because you're going like this, and then you're like this, and then you're like this. And you're like
maybe this is where we end up and just talking about what architecture should be, right?
Yeah.
What should we be building and producing? Now, as builders and craftsmen, not architects, right? We're never going to build these things, right? And so it's almost like sometimes you go into a modern art museum and you're like, there's a toilet there, a signed toilet, and you're like, wait a minute, something's being pulled over my eyes here, and so there are.
That's one I'm looking at. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
They're paying for originality, because the same thing that's happening in the modern art world is also happening with architecture. And so you end up with these, spilled paint on a canvas, and we paid $50,000 for this, and you're like, wait a minute, what? And you're just like, or there's a fluorescent light hanging on the wall. They're like, yes, $20,000 you paid for this, and you're like, they're paying for originality. They're paying for this art. And
that gets me fired up.
It's just like it's hard, okay?
Yeah.
For me to sit there and go, that totally adds value. That's great.
We walked through the Fort Worth Museum of Modern Art. Me and my wife went on a little date, and like the staff was just getting mad at us because we were just like pointing and laughing at everything. Just like, what is this? And they're like kind of looking at us sideways.
Well, there's some beautiful things in there, like the wings in the book and things like that. That's in there is awesome. But there's other things that aren't so much, right?
Like a shirt stapled to the wall with mustard on it. It's like, it's crazy. I'm just like,
but take it back to architecture, right? When we see some of these things and we're like, why can't we do that? And there is a philosophy right now in the art and architecture world that's what's beautiful, and well, that's an historic building that they've attached this addition onto, and so and look, that one's not it looks like ribbons coming off the building. I mean, it's
I say that one's less offensive to me than the Boston building.
Yeah. Brutalism is really it's
in a word
hard.
Brutal.
Did you name it that?
No, that's the name for it. I think the word is based on, and we can do another word search if you want to make fun of me on this.
No, it's
but
okay.
there's brutal architecture. It's raw concrete, I think is what it is.
Yikes.